The Unvarnished Mechanics of Social Dynamics, Part 1. Most conventional advice on social skills is fluff. It focuses on how things should be kind, be honest, work hard, rather than how they actually are. To navigate reality effectively, you must strip away the moralizing and look at the machinery of human interaction as a biological and strategic game. This is not about being cynical, it is about being observant. The following is a breakdown of the raw drivers of human behavior. The base layer. The 3 hidden drivers. Before you can understand complex manipulation or herd behavior, you must accept that 90% of human interaction is driven by 3 subconscious imperatives. People will rarely admit to these, even to themselves. 1. The preservation of the avatar, ego survival. Physical survival is rarely at stake in modern society, so the brain repurposes its fight or flight mechanism to protect the social avatar, the identity a person has built. The reality, when you correct someone with facts, their brain registers it as a physical attack. They do not hear new information, they feel status reduction. The dynamic, people would rather crash the plane than admit they don't know how to fly it. Never corner a person or attack their avatar publicly unless your goal is total destruction of the relationship. To move someone, you must offer their avatar a heroic way to change its mind, e.d. You were right based on the old data, but looking at this new data. 2. The economy of energy, laziness as a strategy. The brain consumes 20% of the body's energy. It is designed to conserve effort. This creates cognitive miserliness. The reality, most people do not think they pattern match. They look for heuristics, mental shortcuts, to make decisions so they don't have to process new data. The dynamic, if you look the part, suit, clipboard, confident tone. The brain categorizes you as authority safe and shuts down critical analysis. Success often comes not from being the best, but from being the easiest option to process. 3. The dominance-competence trade-off. We are wired to follow dominance, not just competence. In the ancestral environment, the loud, large, aggressive leader often ensured survival better than the quiet, thoughtful one. The reality, confidence, is frequently mistaken for competence. The dynamic. In a meeting, the person who speaks first, speaks loudest, and interrupts often is perceived as the leader, even if their ideas are mediocre. 2. Herd behavior, the safety trap. Herd behavior is not just sheep following sheep. It is a calculated risk management strategy gone wrong. In the wild, if the herd runs, you run. If you pause to ask, why are we running? You get eaten. In modern society, this instinct is weaponized. 1. Pluralistic ignorance. This occurs when a majority of group members privately reject a norm, but incorrectly assume that most others accept it and therefore go along with it. The mechanism, you are in a boardroom. The CEO proposes a terrible idea. Everyone nods, you nod because you think everyone else agrees. In reality, everyone thinks it is a bad idea, but everyone is nodding because everyone else is nodding. The exploit. To control a group, you do not need to convince everyone. You only need to convince the first 2 vocal people. The rest will assume consensus has been reached and fall in line to avoid social friction. 2. The information cascade. This is the math behind going viral or market bubbles. The mechanism. Person A makes a decision. Person B sees as decision and assumes A knows something B doesn't, so B follows. Person C sees A and B and follows. By the time person J joins, they're basing their decision solely on the actions of the previous people, not on their own data. The danger, the entire chain can be based on the initial error of person A. The counter move, to break a cascade in a social setting, you must disrupt the visual consensus. One single dissenting voice can shatter the illusion of unanimity. If you are the dissenter, do not attack the group, attack the premise objectively to give others permission to defect. 3. The tall poppy syndrome. The herd tolerates success, but it hates outliers. If you rise too fast or too distinctly, the herd's instinct is to pull you back down to the mean. The reality: your peers want you to do well, but not better than them. If you surpass the group's status quo, you trigger their envy, which is just signal that they are losing the resource competition. The strategy: if you are winning heavily, practice strategic vulnerability. Admit to small flaws or bad luck. This lowers your perceived threat level and appeases the herd's envy, while you maintain your actual power. 3. Success without awareness, the idiot savant of socials. You asked about success without awareness. This is a crucial concept. You often see people who are objectively unintelligent, unreflective, or abrasive, yet they climb the ladder faster than the introspective genius. Why does this happen? 1. The burden of self-awareness. Highly intelligent, self-aware people simulate every outcome before acting. They calculate risks, worry about how they are perceived, and anticipate failure. This causes hesitation. The unaware person does not simulate, they act. Because they act more frequently, they roll the dice more often. Even if they fail 50 of the time, their sheer volume of attempts yields more successes than the intelligent person who hesitates to ensure a 100 success rate. 2. The confidence-competence gap, Dunning-Kruger weaponized. Incompetent people often lack the metacognitive ability to realize they are incompetent. This leads to delusional confidence. The dynamic: humans are bad at judging actual competence, so we use confidence as a proxy for it. The delusional person truly believes they are capable. Because they show no micro-expressions of doubt, anxiety, or hesitation, the herd follows them. The lesson: to succeed, you must sometimes turn off your monitor. Stop checking yourself. Delusional belief in your own value is more persuasive than a factual presentation of your skills tempered by humility. 3. Failing upwards. In corporate structures, it is often difficult to fire a manager. It is easier to promote them to a division where they can do less harm, or to a role that relies on soft skills, talking, rather than execution. The reality: the unaware person is often promoted because they are good with people, i.e., they are confident extroverts, while the actual workers are kept in lower positions because they are too valuable to lose in execution roles. IV. The dynamics of power and status. Power is not given, it is taken through the manipulation of signals. 1. The least interested person principle. In any relationship or negotiation, the person who cares the least has the most power. The mechanism: if you are willing to walk away, the other party must chase you. If you need the deal date job too much, you signal low status and desperation. The application: you must cultivate an abundance mindset or fake it. Always have a best alternative. BATNA. If you have no other options, you have no leverage. 2. The vacuum of silence. Most people are terrified of silence. It triggers social anxiety. They fill it with nervous chatter, often revealing too much information or negotiating against themselves. The power move: become comfortable with silence. When someone gives you an unsatisfactory answer, stare at them and wait. They will almost always speak again to relieve the tension, often giving you exactly what you want. 3. Impression management versus reality. People judge you based on the thinnest slices of behavior. The halo effect. If you are attractive, well-dressed, or articulate, people subconsciously assume you are also smart, honest, and kind. The horn effect. If you are disheveled or mumble, people assume you are incompetent or lazy. The practicality: don't judge a book by its cover is moral advice, not practical reality. Curate your cover obsessively. It buys you the benefit of the doubt. V. Introduction to manipulation games, the setup. Manipulation is simply the act of influencing others to serve your interests. It exists on a spectrum from benign, persuasion sales, to malicious, psychological abuse. 1. The law of reciprocity, the Trojan horse. If I do something for you, you feel a biological compulsion to return the favor. The game: a manipulator will offer you a small, unrequested favor, a compliment, a coffee, a small piece of information. This creates a debt. They will later cash in this debt, for something much larger. The defense. Recognize transactional kindness. If a favor feels unprompted and specific, it is a hook. You can accept the item without accepting the emotional debt. 2. Framing and anchoring. He who defines the context wins the argument. The game, if I ask, is $500 too much for this watch? I am letting the price be the variable. If I ask, do you want the silver or the gold watch? I have framed the purchase as inevitable. The choice is only the variant. The anchor. In negotiation, the first number thrown out acts as an anchor. Even if it is absurd, the final number will skew toward it. 3. The double bind. This is a control tactic where the victim is given two choices, but both lead to the manipulator's desired outcome. Example: do you want to clean your room now or after dinner? The option of not cleaning the room is removed. Social example: are you upset because you're jealous or because you're crazy? Both options invalidate your valid reason for being upset. VI. Why nice is a losing strategy. There is a difference between being good and being nice. Nice is compliant. Nice is agreeable. Nice is fear-based behavior designed to avoid conflict. Nice people are often trampled because they signal that there is no cost to crossing them. Good is having the capacity for danger aggression but choosing not to use it. The shift: you must integrate your shadow. You must be capable of being disagreeable. If you cannot say no and withstand the resulting social pressure, your yes means nothing. People respect those who have boundaries and enforce them, even if it causes temporary friction. End of Part 1. In Part 2, we will cover the darker, more complex aspects: advanced manipulation games, gaslighting, triangulation, love bombing, and DARVO, corporate politics, surviving the sharks, credit stealing, and the sacrificial lamb. Exit strategies: how to leave a toxic job, relationship, or social circle without blowing yourself up, ghosting, gray rocking, the fade. The dark triad in real life: spotting narcissists and psychopaths before they ruin you. Would you like me to proceed with Part 2 now? Here is Part 2 of your guide. This section moves from the general mechanics of social interaction into the specific, often predatory tactics used by toxic individuals and corporate structures, and how to defend against them. The unvarnished mechanics of social dynamics, Part 2. We have covered the base drivers: ego, laziness, dominance, and the behavior of the herd. Now we must dissect the specific weapons used in interpersonal and professional warfare. UA. 7. Advanced manipulation games, the dark arts. These are not misunderstandings. These are calculated strategies designed to subjugate you. You must recognize the mechanic to break the spell. 1. Gaslighting, the erosion of reality. Gaslighting is not just lying. It is a systematic attack on your cognitive processing. The goal is to make you distrust your own memory and perception so that you become dependent on the manipulator's version of reality. The mechanic: they deny events that definitely happened. I never said that. Where they shift the focus to your reaction rather than their action. You're too sensitive. You're imagining things. The effect: you stop trusting your gut. You start recording conversations or keeping logs just to prove to yourself you aren't crazy. The counter: do not jade, justify, argue, defend, explain. Gaslighting only works if you try to convince them of the truth. You cannot. State your reality once: I know what I heard. Then disengage. Trust your memory over their insistence. 2. Love bombing devaluation, the addiction cycle. This is the primary weapon of the narcissist. It mimics the dopamine cycle of drug addiction. Phase 1. The high. They overwhelm you with affection, praise, and attention. You feel seen like never before. This establishes a high baseline of dopamine. Phase 2. The withdrawal. Once you are hooked, they pull away abruptly or criticize you. Your dopamine crashes. You panic and scramble to get the good version of them back. The trap. You work harder and harder for smaller and smaller crumbs of affection. You are now chasing the dragon. The counter. If a relationship, romantic or professional, feels too intense, too fast, it is a red flag. Real trust takes time. If someone puts you on a pedestal immediately, they are preparing to kick it out from under you. 3. Triangulation, Divide and conquer. A manipulator secures control by preventing direct communication between two other parties. They become the gatekeeper of information. The mechanic, person A tells you that person B hates you, person A tells person B that you hate them. Now you and person B are suspicious of each other and rely on person A for support. The counter, go to the source, remove the middleman. Hey, A mentioned you were upset with my work, I wanted to clear the air. This usually exposes the manipulator instantly. Watch them panic when they realize the two pawns are talking directly. 4. Darvo, deny, attack, reverse victim and offender. This is the standard legal and social defense of the guilty. Step 1. Deny the abuse ever happened. Step 2. Attack the credibility of the accuser. You're unstable. You're obsessed. Step 3. Reverse victim and offender. They claim that your accusation is actually an attack on them, making them the true victim in the scenario. The goal? To put you on the defensive so you are busy proving you aren't the bad guy, rather than focusing on their original bad behavior. 8. The dark triad in the wild. In high-stakes environments, CEOs, surgeons, lawyers, sales, you will encounter people with dark triad traits. They are often high-functioning and successful. 1. The narcissist, the fragile god. Core drive, maintenance of a grandiose self-image. Weakness, deep, terrifying insecurity. Behavior, they need constant supply, admiration, or fear. If you criticize them, you create a narcissistic injury, and they will seek disproportionate revenge. Handling them, do not fight them head-on. They will burn the house down to win. Instead, manage them, flatter them. Frame your ideas as their ideas. Let them take the credit. If you must correct them, do it in private and sandwich it between compliments. 2. The Machiavellian, the chess player. Core drive, utility, and power. Trait, they are cynical, strategic, and emotionally detached. They do not care about good or bad, only effective or ineffective. Handling them, you can actually deal with them easily because they are rational. Do not appeal to their empathy, appeal to their interests. Show them how helping you helps them. If you back me on this project, you get the budget increase for your department. They will respect the trade. 3. The psychopath, the cold predator. Core drive, immediate gratification and thrill-seeking. Trait, zero empathy, low impulse control. No fear. They can look you in the eye and lie without their pulse rising. Handling them, avoidance. You cannot manipulate a psychopath effectively because they do not feel the social anxiety or guilt that binds the rest of us. If you identify one, your only strategy is to become boring and non-useful to them so they move on to a more interesting victim. 9. Corporate warfare, the shadow rules. The organizational chart is a lie. The real hierarchy is based on leverage, information flow, and alliance networks. 1. The open door trap. HR and management often claim to have an open door policy. The reality, HR exists to protect the company from you, not to protect you from the company. The trap. When you walk in to complain about a toxic boss, you have just labeled yourself a liability. You are now a squeaky wheel. Unless your boss has committed a felony that creates legal exposure for the firm, HR will likely side with the boss, who has more value, and manage you out. The rule, never complain without a solution, and never confess weaknesses to HR. Treat every interaction as a deposition. 2. Credit theft and plausible deniability. The mechanic. You mention an idea in a meeting. No one reacts. 10 minutes later, a senior manager repeats the idea. Everyone cheers. The counter. You cannot say that was my idea without looking petty. The public verification tactic. Immediately after the meeting, send an email summarizing the discussion, great point by manager, about my idea. As I mentioned earlier, the data supports this. You are paper trailing the origin while pretending to be a team player. 3. The sacrificial lamb. Projects that are doomed to fail are often delegated to the newest or most naive person. The setup. This is a great opportunity for you to take lead. The reality. The project is underfunded, the deadline is impossible, or the client is hostile. The senior leaders know this. They need a face to put on the failure. The defense. Before accepting a huge opportunity, ask, what is the budget? Who was running this before? Why did they leave it? If the answers are vague, you are being set up. 4. Law of least effort. Corporate version. In large organizations, competence is often punished with more work. The dynamic. If you are the best at spreadsheets, you will be given everyone else's spreadsheets to fix. You will not be promoted because you are too useful where you are. The strategy. Be strategically incompetent at low-value tasks. If you fix the printer once, you are the printer guy forever. Focus your competence only on revenue-generating activities, RGA, things that directly bring money or visible prestige to the firm, X. Exit strategies, leaving without destruction. Knowing when to leave is a skill. Leaving without blowing yourself up is an art. 1. The gray rock method, dealing with toxic people. If you cannot leave a toxic environment, bad boss, co-parent with a narcissist, you must become a gray rock. The method, be as uninteresting as a rock. Give short, boring answers, okay, I see, maybe. Show no emotion, offer no personal information. The goal, toxic people feed on drama, emotional reaction. If you provide no drama, they get bored and look for a new target. You are starving them out. 2. The fade versus the bridge burn. The fade. Use this for casual acquaintances or low-level toxic friends. Slowly increase response times. Decline invites with vague excuses, busy with work. Eventually, the connection atrophies naturally, no confrontation required. The bridge burn, only do this if the person is dangerous or you need a hard psychological break. State clearly, this dynamic is not healthy for me. I am ending communication. Do not contact me. Then block immediately. Do not read the reply. The reply is just a hook to pull you back in. 3. The poison pill, negotiation exit. If you are being pressured to agree to something you don't want, a bad contract, an unfair favor, make your yes so expensive that they choose to withdraw the request. The move, instead of saying no, which creates conflict, say, I can do that, but I will need exorbitant condition. Example, I can work this weekend, but I'll need triple time and Monday, Tuesday off. They will likely say, never mind, and it was their choice, not your refusal. 4. Closure is a myth. One of the biggest traps in exiting relationships or jobs is the desire for closure. You want them to admit they were wrong. You want them to understand your pain. The truth, they will not give it to you. If they were capable of understanding your pain, they wouldn't have treated you that way. The strategy, accept that the why, doesn't matter. The disrespect was the closure. Walk away. 11. Final synthesis, the metagame. To master social dynamics, you must detach your ego from the outcome. 1. Be an observer, not a participant. When someone yells at you, insults you, or flatters you, imagine you are a scientist observing a specimen. Ask yourself, why are they doing this? What is their goal? What is their insecurity? This stops you from reacting emotionally. 2. Silence is your strongest weapon. Most people talk to relieve their own anxiety. When you stay silent, you force them to reveal theirs. 3. Judge actions, ignore words. Words are cheap. People will tell you who they want to be. Their actions tell you who they are. Believe the patterns, not the apologies. Next step. If you want to practice this, choose one interaction tomorrow, a meeting, a negotiation, or a difficult conversation, and apply the gray rock or vacuum of silence technique. Observe the result. Would you like me to expand on any specific section, such as body language signals or verbal judo, diffusing conflict? Here is part 3 of the comprehensive guide. This section focuses on charisma engineering, status signaling, and verbal warfare. These are the practical tools for navigating interactions in real time, moving beyond what people do to how you can control the interaction. The unvarnished mechanics of social dynamics. Part 3. We have discussed the drivers of behavior and the darker strategies of manipulation. Now we turn to the offensive and defensive tools of interactional mechanics. This is about how to hack the immediate social environment, how to generate charisma, detect lies, and win verbal altercations without making enemies. 12. The mechanics of charisma, engineering the it factor. Charisma is not magic. It is a specific blend of 3 signals: presence, power, and warmth. You can dial these up or down mechanically. 1. The presence hack, eye contact reaction time. Most people are not present. They are waiting for their turn to speak or checking their phone. To simulate high charisma, the 2-second pause, when someone finishes a sentence, wait 2 full seconds before responding. This signals that you are absorbing their words, validation, and that you are comfortable with silence, high-status confidence. It forces them to look at you, waiting for the verdict. The sticky eyes technique. Do not break eye contact immediately when you finish speaking. Hold it for a fraction of a second, longer than feels natural. It creates an intense sense of intimacy and dominance. 2. The warmth hack, the Ben Franklin effect. Conventional wisdom says, do favors for people to make them like you. This is wrong. The reality, if you do a favor for someone, you put yourself in the servant role. They may like the service, but they don't necessarily respect the servant. The hack, get them to do a small favor for you. Ask to borrow a pen. Ask for their opinion on a simple matter. The psychology, this triggers cognitive dissonance. Their brain thinks, I am doing something for this person, therefore, I must, respect them. You are tricking their brain into justifying their investment in you. 3. Mirroring and matching, the neural link. People trust people who are like them. The mechanic, subtly mimic their posture, their tempo of speech, and their vocabulary. The isopraxism principle, if they lean back, you wait 10 seconds, then lean back. If they speak slowly and quietly, drop your volume. The trap, do not mimic anger or anxiety. If they are agitated, you must compliment them with calm, low, slow voice to bring them down. Co-regulation. 13. Verbal warfare, defusing and redirecting. You will encounter aggression. Meeting aggression with aggression creates a fight. Meeting aggression with tactical empathy creates control. 1. The calibrated question, the how trap. When someone makes an unreasonable demand or attacks you, do not say no, which triggers resistance. Instead, ask a question that forces them to solve your problem. The phrase, how am I supposed to do that? The dynamic, your boss says, I need this done by tomorrow, an impossible task. You say calmly, I want to help, but looking at the workload you've already assigned, how am I supposed to do that without dropping the other priorities? The result, you force them to stop and think about your constraints. You have pushed the burden of the solution back onto them without ever saying the word. Number 2, labeling, disarming the bomb. Emotions are obstacles to logic. You cannot reason with an angry person. You must vent the emotion first. The mechanic, put a label on their emotion. It sounds like you're frustrated with the timeline. It seems like you feel you aren't being heard. The effect, this triggers a neurochemical shift. Acknowledging the negative emotion diminishes activity in the amygdala, fear center. They will instinctively say, and calm down because they feel understood. Only then can you persuade them. 3. The accusation audit, preemptive defense. If you know you are about to say something they won't like, or if you are walking into a hostile room, list all the terrible things they are thinking about you before they can say them. The script, you're probably going to think I am difficult. You're going to think I am incompetent and that I am wasting your time. The result, you steal their thunder. By voicing the accusations, you exaggerate them. They are forced to step in and defend you. No, I don't think you're incompetent. Let's just hear it out. You have cleared the emotional minefield. 14. Status signals, the invisible hierarchy. Every interaction involves a subconscious negotiation of status. If you signal low status, your ideas will be ignored, even if they are brilliant. 1. Space claiming, Territoriality. High status expands. They take up space. They put their arms on the empty chair next to them. They spread their papers out. They lean back. Low status condenses. They keep elbows tucked in. They cross legs tightly. They touch their face or neck. Self-soothing, pacifying gestures. The drill. Stop touching your face, neck in meetings. It is a primal signal of insecurity. Keep your hands visible and still. 2. Vocal tonality. The downward inflection. The error. Uptalk. Ending sentences with a rising pitch. Like it's a question. This signals I am seeking approval verification. The fix. Downward inflection. End your sentence by dropping your pitch. We are going to do this. Period. This signals I am delivering a fact. Even if you are unsure, state it as a fact. 3. Interrupting versus the filibuster. The power dynamic. High-status people feel comfortable interrupting. Low-status people wait for permission. The counter-interruption. If someone interrupts you, do not raise your voice. Keep talking at the exact same volume and tempo. Do not stop. This creates an awkward audio collision. The interrupter will usually falter and stop because you didn't yield the floor. It is a subtle but aggressive dominance move. 15. The psychology of commitment, trapping the mind. How do you get people to follow through? You exploit their need for consistency. 1. The foot in the door, consistency trap. People have a strong desire to act in a way that is consistent with their past actions. The mechanic, get a small, meaningless yes first. The example, wrong, will you donate $100 to our charity? Easy number. Right? Do you care about the environment? Yes. Great. We are doing a drive. Would you donate? The trap, to say no to the donation now contradicts their previous statement that they care. It creates internal friction, making them more likely to comply. 2. Sunk cost fallacy, weaponized. People will stick with a bad decision if they have invested resources in it. The application. If you want loyalty, make people invest in you early. Make the interview process hard. Make the onboarding rigorous. The result, they will value the job more because they paid a high price to get it. If you make it too easy, they will leave easily. 3. The scarcity principle, FOMO. Humans value what is rare. Abundance creates contempt. The application, never be always available. Bad, I can meet any time next week. Signals, my time is worthless. Good. I have a slot on Tuesday at 3 p.m. or Thursday at 10 a.m., which works. Signals, my time is limited, valuable. Socially, be willing to leave the party early. Leave while the energy is high, leave them wanting more. If you stay until the end, you become part of the scenery. 16. Detecting deception, reality versus Hollywood. Forget looking up and to the left. Real lie detection is about baseline deviation. 1. Establishing a baseline. To spot a lie, you must know how the person acts when they are telling the truth. The setup. Ask simple, safe questions first. How was the traffic? What did you have for lunch? Watch their blink rate, their hand movements, their vocal pitch. This is their baseline. 2. The hotspots, deviations. Now, ask the hard question. Look for clusters of behavior that deviate from the baseline. Pacifying behaviors, touching the neck, rubbing the legs, covering the mouth. These indicate stress, not necessarily lying. But if the question should cause stress, and they get stressed, red flag. Distancing language, liars subconsciously distance themselves from the lie. Truth, I didn't do it. Lie, I would never do that. I did not have sexual relations with that woman. Removing the I or using specific determiners to create distance. 3. The too many details tell. Truthful stories are often messy. They have gaps. I think it was Tuesday. Or maybe Wednesday. The lie, prepared lies are often too perfect. They are chronological, detailed, and rehearsed. If someone gives you a story that sounds like a police report, be suspicious. The test, ask them to tell the story in reverse order. Okay, so before you got to the car, what were you doing? A liar has memorized the script A, B, C. They cannot easily replay it C minus B minus A. Their cognitive load will spike, and they will stumble. 17. Shadow work, the internal defense. You cannot master social dynamics if you are a slave to your own triggers. You must understand projection. 1. Projection, the mirror of the mind. What you hate in others is what you deny in yourself. The mechanic. If someone irrationally angers you, for example, you hate attention seekers, it is often because you have a suppressed desire for attention that you don't allow yourself to express. The utility. When you spot a strong emotional reaction in yourself, stop. That is a data point about your own shadow. The defense. When someone attacks you, realize they are often talking to a projection of their own psyche, not to you. They are fighting their own demons, and you are just the screen. This realization allows you to detach and remain calm, Gray Rock, because you don't take it personally. 2. The competent monster. Jordan Peterson and Carl Jung argue that you should not aim to be harmless. You should aim to be dangerous but disciplined. The concept. A person who cannot hurt others is not good. They are merely weak. A person who can hurt others has the capacity for aggression, negotiation, and boundary enforcement, but chooses not to, is truly virtuous. Practicality. Develop your capacity for aggression. Learn to say no. Learn to withstand conflict. If people sense you are harmless, they will eat you. If they sense you have teeth but are choosing to smile, they will respect you. End of Part 3. Part 4, final section, will cover network theory, being a connector, and exploiting structural holes in social networks. Reputation management, how to build a legend and manage bad PR. Social engineering, pretexting, and gaining access to closed circles. The God mode mindset, radical acceptance, and the Stoic approach to social dominance. Would you like me to generate Part 4 now?